Wait 1 second. Are you recording? Okay. We're ready.
All right. Good morning, everyone. And shall I say probably welcome to the second day of the YouTube conference. Welcome to the third plenary session, considering last night as a one enclosed session with two different parts. I have the pleasure to introduce you to two speakers who are going to be with us for the next hour. The two speakers are Professor Mike Thelwall from the University of Wolverhampton and Dr. Faridavis from the University of Sheffield. And it's a particular pleasure for me to introduce them, as I am a fan of their work too, which always helps. And especially because I think, and this is a broad reflection, of course, but I think that their work, either together or as single individual researchers, has helped in getting a way to understand digital media and digital platforms and the way in which we can use certain methods to understand them and how users use the platform too. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Mike first, who is the first one of the two. They are going to talk for about 20 minutes each. Mike, just to recap a little bit, Mike leads the Statistical Cybermetrics Research Group at the University of Wolverhampton and has developed and evaluated free software and methods for systematically gathering and analyzing web and social web data, including sentiment analysis, altmetrics, webmetrics, and many more. His presentation is entitled YouTube Comments, 3 Studies, and Some Software Instructions. So, Mike, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. You won't be clapping at the end. I hope you don't look at these, look at the title and think, oh my God, software instructions, how grim is this talk going to be? So anyway, in 20 minutes we'll see. So I thought I'd talk about 3 studies, just briefly summarise the results of 3 studies analysing YouTube, and then explain how to use webmetric analysis to gather YouTube comments and YouTube video information. So this at the end, just maybe 5 minutes at the end, just to, in case you need to gather information about a lot of YouTube videos or you want to download all the comments, it's just a very simple tool to help you automate a job that you might know you're going to have to do, but it's really boring to keep copying and pasting from YouTube. Okay, so 3 studies. Study number 1. So this is half a decade old now, data, but it includes analysis of data from YouTube that they don't give anymore. So I'd love to do a replication study on this to see how YouTube has changed over time, but they don't give all the information that they used to anymore. So some of the information in this, some of the results of this study are, we can only guess how they've changed over time. So the first studies are basically very simple questions, like all my studies really. They ask very simple questions, there's nothing really profound. Just get the information and ask simple questions about an aspect of YouTube. And this is really the simplest questions you can ask. Who's posting to YouTube, what are they posting, how they're posting, and why. Just simple questions, and I'm only looking for answers that you can get by what's already on YouTube. Just looking at the content on YouTube and not asking people, not going and asking people, no interviews or questionnaires. So I love reading other people's studies, interviews and questionnaires, but for this study it's just the data in YouTube, what's actually in there. So, just in case you haven't seen YouTube before, it's my favourite video. It's fantastic. And I'm looking particularly at the comments on videos. So I love the comments because they're, as you know, they're just a simple way of getting a little bit of audience feedback on a video for free with almost no effort at all. In a way that if you didn't use a social media, you would spend ages interviewing people, finding the people in the right location. So for the data for study number 1, so it's webmetric analyst, and it's based on 39,392 videos with one or more comments. So we developed like a keyword method of trying to get something that's like a random sample of YouTube comments. It's not really possible without talking to YouTube to get a complete random sample, but this is something close to a random sample of YouTube comments, and we're interested in the properties of these comments. One comment per video. So for each comment we got from YouTube, and this was from the data that YouTube supplies, or used to supply for free to computer programs. So if you haven't used the YouTube API, Applications Programming Interface, it's a way in which YouTube automatically gives data to computer programs, including researchers' computer programs like Webmetric Analyst. And it used to give you more information than you could see on the YouTube website. So it used to tell you the age, gender and location of all the members and all the commenters on YouTube. And they don't give that anymore. I think a few years ago they shut that down, presumably for privacy reasons. So when they told us people's ages, then these are the results. I reckon the typical user is a bit older now, but this is really a young demographic. So the 20-year-olds are the modal age, but loads of young users. These are the people leaving comments, not necessarily the viewers. The viewers probably older, but the people that bother to leave a comment on a video tend to be pretty young. The oldest you could be, I think, was 109 for some reason. So anyway, there were spikes at 30, 40, and 109. Bizarre in terms of ages. But it's important to know that the people that leave the comments are young. It's a very young demographic. And the length of the comments, they're typically pretty short. So most comments, the vast majority of comments are just really short, like not even a sentence, like a long phrase or a short to medium phrase. So you do see paragraphs of text in YouTube. You can have up to 500 characters in your comments in YouTube, but these are very rare. So the typical comments are just very, very short. And the sentiment in comments I'm particularly interested in. So we use a computer program, CentiStrength, which automatically detects the strength of positivity and the strength of negativity in social media text. And this is a horrible graph, but I can't find a better way of presenting it, sorry. But the graph is essentially saying that the typical comment in YouTube is mildly positive and doesn't contain any negativity. So typically, positivity is the dominant sentiment in YouTube, which, unless you study politics, I'm pretty sure is your own impression of YouTube. People are nice in YouTube. People say nice things about the videos typically, and to the video uploader in most contexts, not all, but in most contexts. But a very strong, very emotional, very powerful, strong positive or negative sentiment is almost non-existent, so it's like some mildly, moderately positive, typical communication. And if someone leaves a comment, then they typically either say something positive or something negative, or no sentiment at all, but they don't tend to mix sentiment. So if you're used to looking at film reviews, that's the opposite. So a film review typically mixes positive and negative sentiment. I like this, I didn't like that. The acting was good, the plot was bad. So it's rare to get a film review that says everything was awful or everything was wonderful. Okay, it happens, but more typically it's more balanced. But in YouTube, people do tend to be polar. It was good, it was bad. Say something positive, say something negative, say something negative. But interestingly, the comments with the videos with the most negative comments also tended to have the most comments. So if there was a video that was unusual in that it elicited negative reactions, then people would react more to it. So, and this was really evident on the music videos. So if you look at old music videos, old rock videos, and you look at the comments, they'd all say, "I love this, this is a great song. I remember when I danced to this in the disco in the late 60s. And there's no interaction. There's no one else that replies to say, well, I also love this. I also danced to this in a disco in the late 60s. Or it's very rare. So it's actually the negativity that spawns the reaction. So if you want to make friends on YouTube, then if you post, I don't like this, then you're more likely to get other people replying saying, well, actually it's excellent, or contradicting you. So there's a correlation with the amount of comments on a video and the negative sentiment expressed in comments. This is another horrible graph, I'm sorry, so probably don't bother reading the technical details, but the green bar, a high green bar, means that in this category it's a really controversial category where there are lots of discussions. Sorry, other way around. Green bar, very passive category, no discussion. So music, there are very, very few heated debates in music videos. Whereas in politics, that's absolutely the norm. News and politics, it's absolutely the norm to discuss things. So these bars are related to the percentage of comments that are replies to previous comments in YouTube. So in a passive category, no one interacts with anyone else's comments, no one replies to anyone else's comments, like music, like comedy, like entertainment. But in the active categories where there's a lot of discussion, then if you post a reply, you're more likely to post a comment, you're more likely to get a reply to it. So this is news and politics is obvious. Science and technology may be a bit of a surprise. This is something that people like to discuss on YouTube, not just leave a comment, but actually like to discuss it. And just final little bit of background information. So about 1 in 1,000 views on YouTube on the videos we looked at generates a comment. So comments are really a really tiny percentage of the views on a video. So you certainly can't say that the commenters are likely to be representative of the viewers of a video. Such a tiny percentage, they must be highly selected. And that's probably partly the reason for the very young average age of the commenters on the early graphs. About a quarter of the commenter replies. And not one of the categories, but religion was a topic that generated the most heated and the biggest discussions. So this just came from looking at the data. So the one music video, oh no, that's not right, no. Many of the politics and some of the science videos with heavy discussions were about religion. So they're in the science or the news category, but the discussion was about religion. So religion was really controversial. So the one controversial music video was a huge discussion on whether black metal was the same as death metal, or whether it was a subgenre. Okay, study 2, just quickly on this one. So why do academics cite YouTube videos is the question for this study, or how many academics cite YouTube videos. So when you write a paper, you might, in your research, you might include references to the main people in your field or the papers that have informed your work, but you might also cite a YouTube video that you've looked at. But most people don't study YouTube, but a lot of people still cite a YouTube video for something or other. And so here's an example of, it's an academic journal, I don't know how widely known this is, but there are academic journals now where you don't submit a paper, you submit a video, and your publication is the video. So the Journal of Visual Experiments is such a journal. It's a reputable, good quality academic journal, and you submit a video of your experiment and a short paper describing the experiment, but the heart of what you're submitting is a video, and the video has to describe some kind of complex experiment where it's much easier to demonstrate it in a video format than it is to describe it in a textual format. So I like this example. This is a still from the video, so you can see it looks like a high quality, carefully constructed video. So, and this is the number of publications, academic journal articles, that cite YouTube videos, and the different subject areas that they come from. So YouTube is particularly cited in the social sciences and science and arts and humanities, and less in medical and health sciences. But I had a look at earlier this week at who writes the most papers on YouTube, and it seems to be the medical and health sciences write the most papers on YouTube. But their papers are typically of the format asking the question, how accurate is the information on disease X in YouTube? So how accurate is the information on diabetes in YouTube? And there were loads and loads and loads of papers like that written by health researchers. Okay, so study 3, TED Talks in YouTube. So I'm sure you know about the TED Talks website. So it's live presentations, video recorded, Farida's been in one. The main audience is really the online audience for TED Talks, although it's a live event, and they're carefully curated, high quality talks given by academics and non-academics. So the talk typically involves explaining some academic arts education topic with maybe demonstrations or nice graphics, nice visuals with it, and they're hugely, hugely popular. Over 1 billion views in total for the TED video. So for something that's related to academia, it's maybe the most popular thing we have on the internet. That okay, it's not 100% academic, but it's academic-y. So we looked at the statistics, the data on the 1,000 plus, about 1,300 TED Talks videos in the TED Director channel, and we did a little bit of extra manual work. So we wanted to know what academics are doing in TED Talks and what does TED do